radioactive environment, in the eternal dark of the underground, at unattainable altitudes. Kazakhstan's vast lands attract researchers and explorers, and our filming crew are no exception. Hello to everybody, my name is Daniil Glumov and we're back on the road. This time to join the search of the estate of an extremely influential ruler of the ancient steppe. It is no ordinary expedition, as there are many uncertainties. Its outcome is unpredictable, but as we know, seek and you shall find. While on the way to Pavlodar, let me tell you more about the goal of our trip. How much have you heard about Sultanbet, the ruler of Kipchak Lus in the IRTYSH river basin area, one of the colleagues of Khan Abdullahi? In the 18th century, Sultanbet was a famous and respected person of the political and public arena, and not only in the Kazakh Khanate. Paradoxically, very little is known today about him, his life, and the circumstances of his death. Just recently, Pavlodar scientists got hold of a couple of rare archival documents which may shed light on the story of this mysterious man.
Историю этого человека. Кем же был Султанбет?
Who was Sultanbet, and what made and makes him famous then and today? In Astana we found a person who might be able to answer these questions. Please meet the connoisseur of the old, Professor Jibek of Gumenov Eurasian National University, who probably knows about the Sultan more than anybody else. But let's wait for him to finish his lecture. Our time has come. Let's not waste a second.
Да-да.
Hello. Good afternoon, Jibek Yemukanovich. My name is Daniil. Very good. I'm Jibek. Thank you for finding time in your tight schedule to talk to us. We are investigating Sultanbet. Why do you think there is so little information about the Sultan? The matter is that during the Soviet period,
Тема чингизидов, тема изучения
the subject of Chingizids and the study of Khan and Sultan families was under unofficial prohibition. During the 25 years of independent development, our historians have been mainly dealing with the previously known personalities like Khan Kanesari, Khan Abdullahi and Khan Jahangir.
Поэтому задача сегодняшнего поколения исследователей, скажем...
That's why, to clarify the events and the processes of that specific period, it is important for the new generation of historians to meticulously examine such persons as Sultanbet. Still, there are bits and pieces of information about him. Of course. Would you mind sharing them with us? Not at all.
Конечно, конечно.
Присядем?
Конечно.
By the way, this is the place where, as a student, Jibek Kabuldinev heard about Sultanbet for the first time. Omsk State University. Working on my graduation thesis and then my pre-doctoral and after that my PhD thesis, I was an often guest of Omsk Region State Archives, in particular Section 3 of Western Siberia Head Department. In the 18th century correspondence between Siberian regional authorities and the Kazakhs, the Kazakh side, specifically the northeast of Kazakhstan including Pavlodar and midstream IRTYSH areas, was officially represented either by Sultan Abdullahi, Sultan Abulmambet or Sultan Mamet. It looks like we found a power broker, a grey cardinal of the times. The history motions us with the intrigue and the chance of being the first to divulge a secret. Welcome to Pavlodar and join in for the adventure. Every minute of it will be more than worth it. Pavlodar is a unique place, and you will not confuse it with any other city. The primordial architecture, the trams already rare in Kazakhstan, still rhythmically clicking along the rails, and the river IRTYSH, which still remembers and can tell a lot. I wish I spoke its ancient language.
В научном сообществе
Sultanbet has been in the center of academic debate for quite some time, and you can stumble upon an online article here and there. I'm on my way to see a professor of mathematics who is also keen on history. Why could a mathematician be interested in the old times? Well, it's simpler than we thought. Here's Sultanbet's direct descendant. Hello, Meyram Yestaevich. My name is Daniil, and it's the Unknown Kazakhstan project. How come you got interested in the story and personality of your ancestor? In childhood, my father told me that Sultanbet was our 7th generation ancestor.
Предком 7-го поколения является султан Султанбет. От одного известного историка.
A famous historian, Jibek Kabaldinov, told me about some documents, correspondence between Sultanbet and the commanders of the IRTYSH military line.
Султанбета с командующими иртышской военной линией. Мы поехали вместе с ним в Омск и где-то.
We went to Omsk together, and sometime in early 1998, I saw those letters for the first time in my life. A whole bunch of them filed into thick volumes.
Султанбет в начале.
In the first half of the 18th century, based on the decree of Khan Abulmambet of the Middle Kin, or Jews in Kazakh, Sultanbet was dispatched to the IRTYSH area and officially appointed the Sultan of Kipchak Ulus. That period has been examined rather thoroughly. In 1720, new people come to the area as the Russian Empire builds a sentry fortification here, the Koryakovsky outpost. A lot depended then on the governor of local lands to be thriftily hospitable and diplomatic, and at the same time be a true sultan, fair and firm in protecting the interests of his people.
В основном проблемы приграничные.
The correspondence mainly dealt with border-related issues, like settling the disputes around the Kazakhs of midstream IRTYSH, including the present-day Pavlodar region, crossing the border over to the right bank of the IRTYSH with cattle, or releasing Sultanbet's subjects captured by serf chiefs, Russian military staff quartered along the IRTYSH borderline.
Были расквартированы.
To resolve such issues, the negotiator had to be not only influential and respected, but also esteemed by both parties. Sultanbet, no doubt, was exactly that.
В 1781 году.
In 1781, when Abulai died, the question of who would become the all-Kazakh Khan capable of maintaining the policy led by the great Khan emerged. There were several candidates, and 4 of them we know. One of them was Sultan Qasim.
Пока для нас известны 4 кандидатуры. Это султан.
The second one was Sultan Wali. Abulfiz was the third one. It is no surprise that Sultanbet was one of the 4. Historians allege that at that time Sultanbet was the oldest candidate to the post of the ruler of the Khanate. By the way, there is only circumstantial evidence on his age.
Владение Султанбета вот в Приртышье.
A scientist, Bartanes, one of the participants of the scientific expedition led by academician Falk, visited the lands of Sultanbet in the IRTYSH basin.
И вот, судя по описанию...
So the report says that according to Sultanbet himself, he was 60 years old. He was 1771, so based on our calculations, he was born approximately in 1710. We adhere to this assumption since we have no specific data as to his exact birth date.
Вот мы и подбираем.
So we are getting closer to the core of the matter. Few people know that, according to the decision of the Russian government, Sultanbet was built a mansion somewhere close to the IRTYSH. Captain Andreev stated the fact in his paper Description of the Mid-Horde of Kyrgyz Kazakhs. He was a military engineer and devoted his whole life to the IRTYSH military line. He knew Sultanbet personally and learned about his family tree that Sultan was a direct descendant of Genghis Khan firsthand. A citation from Andreev's book. The chief of the area holds the name of Sultan Mehmet Sultan. The best local subjects, except wives and children, amount to 5,000. Due to his noble rank, in 1778 the Sultan was built a wooden house 7 miles away from Koryakovsky outpost across the river as a wintering ground. However, where exactly was Sultan's residence located, and is it possible to find it? Scientists are convinced that Russian archives should have this information. A new persona is emerging within the investigation history. Vitaly Sirik, a professional economist, is fond of history since childhood. Once a friend gave him an archival document written in the 18th century Russian. Vitaly had to translate it into modern Russian, and after doing that, it appeared that he got hold of a letter between Sultanbet and the IRTYSH line commander.
Я заинтересовался этим моментом и попросил.
I took interest in that and asked to have a meeting with a person who was the source of documents. He turned out to be Amanjol Zhukanovich Kamzin, a descendant of Sultanbet. So we got acquainted and I proposed to continue our cooperation. I love to translate these texts.
Очень интересно.
Его больше всего заинтересовал вопрос.
He was very excited about the idea of finding the exact location of Sultanbet's residence. Sultanbet was the Sultan of Kipchak-Alus, and there were and still are a lot of them in the IRTYSH river basin, in Zhelezinsk, IRTYSH and Aktogay districts. He would travel along the IRTYSH all the time.
И в разных местах по притышу.
He had several locations along the river where he would stay during winter.
И он обратился к.
So apparently he asked the commander of the IRTYSH military line to build him a house or a residence, if I may. So, what is known to researchers so far? That Sultanbet had a residence close to present-day Pavlodar. This is a fact. Nevertheless, nobody knows where exactly to look for its remains. In order to collect more first-hand information, it was decided to go where the number of primary sources should be the greatest. The archives of the cities of Orenburg and Omsk.
Было совершено 4 поездки, одна.
We did 4 trips, 1 to Orenburg and 3 to Omsk. All of them turned out quite fruitful, as each time we found a lot of documents. Altogether, we were able to find 350 documents about the Sultan, with translations and even some with comments. It turned out that our local history was much more exciting than it seemed. Unfortunately, as an amateur historian, I located only a few docs dating back to the 18th century. And here, the whole 18th century reveals itself remarkably, although there are white spots. I was recommended to go to our Pavlodar Archaeological Center and see Timur Smagulov about the Sultan's house. In other words, to locate the place of the first headquarters of Sultan Muhammad Bakadur. Hello Timur, I'm Vitaly. Nice to meet you, I'm Timur. Come in. Thanks. Let's have a look at what you have. We found the plan of the Sultan's house in Omsk archives. There are the front or brat rooms, as they were called. The plan is in good shape and it is scaled. By the way, according to the plan, the house was supposedly located close to the Half-Light house. Unfortunately, we have no other localizing data. Could you help us with it? I suggest using not only cartographic archival materials, but also modern technologies. If you don't mind, let me show you our remote sensing lab. Okay, let's go! In the following episodes, what our scientists found in the Russian archives, what it's like to be an honorary prisoner, What happened next in our search for the residents of Sultan's Sultanbet?